I mean, you are talking about science and stuff, yet you have zero idea what it is. I neither really do.
What
But
do you have to do to know science then, Zinder?
Sorry,
You have
we
to
were all
have some
taught
sort of
science in school.
so you
from a
want
fucking
scientific
university?
evidence.
Sorry,
Right.
Zinder, we were all
Yeah.
taught science in school. The scientific method was taught to all of us. This is 5th grade level understanding to challenge the validity based on the scientific method. So we have been taught this. That's incorrect. I would like to ask you a question, though. Now, I'm obviously assuming that your model with your, you know, underneath that's antimatter, that's just a joke, right? That's just a laugh, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of a joke, of course.
So it's kind of
I mean, I don't really believe it.
Sure. So you don't really believe it, making it an act, correct?
Yeah, it just was having fun.
It's okay. I just need you to nod along, Zinder. So, in the most literal sense of the word, you are projecting your own digressions onto me. You are very literally coming here to act and pretend that you believe something you do not, while simultaneously telling an audience of people that that's what I'm doing. So what you're actually doing, Zinder, is projecting.
What am I projecting?
Do you want me to explain it again? No problem. I understand.
Yeah,
the people, when they're faced with their own nonsense, sometimes it takes a few moments for it to sink in. You are accusing me of pretending to not believe the thing that I am portraying. And we've just got an absolute concrete assertion from you that that is precisely what you are doing, Zinder. So what you are doing is telling an audience that that's what I'm doing, when in actuality it is what you are doing. That is called projection, Zinder. Do you understand? I said it a little bit slower the second time.
Yeah, Nathan, he said he doesn't deny it.
I don't deny.
So you're projecting. So you're
my
projecting
model.
your own issues onto me, then, Zinder. How unbelievably pathetic. Maybe you should go away and face your own demons rather than projecting them onto me.
Let's quantify this, because what he's admitting to is he's admitting that he's actually being two-faced and double-fronted. The exact thing that you're accusing Nathan of.
About the stupid convex Earth?
And me. But the thing is, neither of us are actually fronting. Yes, there is an element of bravado and showmanship on the show. It is a debate show. There is an element of it that you have to playboat, you have to showboat. However, it doesn't detract from the point. You guys can't prove the bullshit that you believe to be true. So whether or not it's an actor in terms of the show itself doesn't mean that we're not pushing forward the position that we actually maintain, which is that you guys can't prove your case.
What case is to be proven?
That we live on a spinning testicle that orbits the sun.
You're a baller, Zinder.
Am I? Are you sure?
Do you believe in gravity?
Why should I? Well, there is a downward force, of course.
Really? Can you prove it?
Well, this makes logical sense at all, but
who cares about logic and reason?
Yeah, who cares about logic and reason, since we are on the Flat Earth debate show, right?
It's about evidence, though, right? It's about what you can prove. It's not what you believe, not what you can logically and reasonably assume. It's what you can prove.
Yeah.
Right. So can you prove this downward force?
Well, when I let something go, it falls down. So yeah, there is a downward force. Every action has.
Come on, Zinder. 1/50 millionth of that thing that you're letting go is attributable to gravity. The rest of it's down to its own density.
I know there is a downward acceleration of 9.81 meters per second squared. So if it was relative density when I let something go in a almost vacuum with 1,000 air molecules, and then the stone is like 1 million times more dense.
Yeah, exactly.
It should accelerate 1 million times faster. So it would touch the ground immediately. It wouldn't go down at 9.81 meters per second squared. And that the fact that I have to explain it to you shows to me that you don't believe this shit with relative density. Because either, sorry, Riley, either you are acting right now, or you are really that stupid to believe that relative density is the thing that causes things to fall down. I don't know what of those the real thing is.
Well,
but
I accept that there's no evidence to prove that this 50 million to 1 force that you worship to believe to be there, I accept that there's no evidence to prove that this is true. However, I don't make the argument that 9.8 meters per second squared is some kind of adamant proof of anything. I accept that there's a rate there. Why it's 9.8 rather than 15.2 or 6.7, who cares? It's not my assertion. My assertion is that you can't prove your gravity. So I'm not asked about the 9.8 meters per second squared because it's not my claim. My claim is clear. You can't prove your 50 millionth of a force against any matter object at all. That's my claim.
Yeah, okay? It's kind of like just ignorance from you that comes up with it. I didn't even mention the Cavendish and mass attracts mass yet.
It's not ignorance.
I'm just talking about a downward force.
Yeah,
you are coming up with 150. Why do you come up with the one in, what was it, 50 million?
I don't come up with that. That's what science tells me it is.
But I didn't even mention that.
Sorry, okay, Zinder, no problem. Sorry, Anthony, sorry, let me just interrupt for 1 second.
That's the excuse for it.
Sorry,
I'm not defending the
Zinder, the original question was, what evidence do you have for your downward force?
Yeah, as I said before, that when the relative density is 5 million times stronger, it still falls down at 9.81 meter per second squared.
Straw man argument, though. I'm not asked about the rate. I'm asking for the proof of the force.
Well, have you ever seen something moving without applying force to it?
That's not asking or inciting a question for him. He's saying, what evidence do you have for the force? Can you answer that specifically, please, Zinder?
Yeah, things falling down. Yeah, that's the evidence.
But remember scale. You understand what scale means, right? We accept that things fall and they appear to be down, but you're attributing that movement to be by a force that only represents a 50 millionth of the object's the weight of the object.
I'm not talking about. Yeah.
I'm asking you, what about the other 449,999,499? What about the rest of it that's down to the density? And let's remember that Cavendish said it's not more than 50 million to 1. So this little force that Cavendish tells us is basically microscopic. I want to know how that accounts for 9.8 meters per second squared, because I say it doesn't exist.
I'm not talking about Newtonian gravity. I'm not talking about Einstein's gravity. I'm just talking about a downward force. It doesn't have to be with mass attracting mass.
No, you can't pick and choose what science you accept. It's quantified by science, and you've got to accept it if you believe it.
Oh, what did you say? You can't pick and choose what science do you accept?
Yes, that's your narrative.
Isn't it what the show is all about?
Not on your side, no. On our side, yeah. But not on your side. You've got to accept
picking and choosing what science is about is kind of what this whole show is about. It is so funny hearing it from your mouth.
Let me restate it. You didn't get it, obviously.
Yeah.
You can't pick and choose the science that you accept. You've got to push the official narrative at all times. And the official narrative at all times is the bending of space-time is gravity, and that's a mathematical construct. And maths doesn't prove anything. That is your position. That is your science, and you can't detract from it because you're on their side of the fence. However, we question that. So we can detract from it because that is the point. But you can't. So when you say there is a downward force and I ask you for evidence for it, you've got to quantify that with science. So what science is there that there's a downward force, please?
Well, as I said, I'm not talking about scientific stuff because I'm not talking about Newtonian's gravity and not talking about Einstein's gravity.
That's our point, Zinder.
I'm just saying it can't be relative density.
So you say, but if you're not talking about science, we are talking about science because that's what we're told.
So prove relative density scientifically why things fall down, and please give me the scale, give me the rate, and give me predictions. Please go on. If we are talking about science.
So what you've just done there is to reverse the burden of proof fallacy. I don't have to prove that relative density is. I've just got to get you to prove that it is basically the way you tell us, and I want to see the proof of this downward accelerating force that you claim exists. We know that it's a 50 millionth or not more than 50 millionth. And I say that that's nowhere near strong enough to make anything do anything. You would never, ever notice it ever. But you believe it's there. And you're the one that projects that I'm the one that's being dishonest or playing a role or whatever. So what is it? Am I playing a role right now by showing that you don't actually have any evidence to support your position? Or is it actually the case that you don't actually have any evidence to support your position and you just believe it anyway?
I am for the super chat. Thank you very much.
Anthony. everything I observe, everything in my life, everything I do, when I apply a force to an object, it moves. If I don't, it doesn't move. There is no object, nothing moves without applying force to it.
Yeah,
so now prove, Andy, prove to me that relative density can move things without applying force to it, because the only way to move things is by applying force to it.
But again, you're moving away from the assertion that you've got to prove. You've got to prove that there is a force there, right? And you can't. And the only way you can do that is to detract away from that point and try and get me to do something. No, you're the one that believes there's a downward acceleration force. I'm asking you to prove it, and you can't prove it, and you won't admit that you can't prove it, and you'll project that in some way I'm acting.
It doesn't have to do anything with acting right now anymore.
Right, so I'm not acting now.
No, you are acting, of course, but
no, you are.
You acting doesn't have anything to do with it.
Let's just get that clear, Zinder. We tied that down earlier. Just to get that clear again, we got the concession, and you admitted you were acting, playing a role of somebody who believes something he didn't actually believe in. That's you, not us. So let's just get that shit put to bed immediately. You are guilty of that. We're not.
Well, making a joke about convex Earth, yeah, sure.
Yeah, playing a little role, believing something that you don't really believe, saying things you don't actually mean. Yeah, you're an actor playing a part of a role of somebody who believes something else contrary to your own beliefs. That's you, Zinder. Yes? So the thing you've just said that we all do, we don't. You do that thing, not us.
So Zinder, you know when you said Pete, when we
you know you do.
Shay, listen, when we said Pete,
sorry, you're gonna get kicked out. What do you mean you know you do? Is this projection again, you pathetic little man? So no, Zinder. No, Zinder, I'm talking. No need to get triggered while I point it out to the pathetic weasel that you are for the third time. We have conclusively shown on this show, by your own admission, you are playing a part. You are acting. You are putting across views that you don't actually believe in. We're not doing that. Contrary to what you've just stated for the second time, this is the third time I've pointed out that you are guilty of these crimes and not us. Despite the fact that you've gone on someone else's show and actually verbally accused me of it, even though you are absolutely guilty of it.
Yeah, I admit it, but I don't...
Yeah, so you're a pathetic weasel. Yes, you admit that you are guilty of the crimes you have accused me of. Yeah? So I'd like an apology. Now.
How are those crimes?
I'd like an apology for your accusations and projections of your own digressions onto me. I'd like an apology, given that you have admitted this to be a fact on this very show.
Yeah. I've seen your video talking about the rats, and that you are a good actor, I have to say. Did you visit?
Sorry. So this is a weasel move from Zinder, the weasel. Pathetic. No humility, just like Pete. You're a pretty pathetic individual, Zinder. So you're not going to apologise for your absolute and unequivocal projection of your own digression onto me? You're not going to apologise for that, even though we've conclusively, by your own words, proven that to be the case.
You were a salesman, right? You are.
Oh, here we go, another distraction. So you are a weasel and a pathetic individual like Pete, and you have no humility to admit, again, even though I tentatively got the admission initially because I'm smart, unlike you, brain-dead weasel. Yeah, you laugh it up, weasel. Laugh it up. Yeah. Laugh it up. You're a weasel. You're a pathetic man. You've got no humility. The amount of times we on this panel as flat earthers have made concessions where we make mistakes. Yeah? You, pathetic individual that you are, can't even make the concession after it's been dragged out on this very show. You are an actor playing a part to deceive people who listen to you into believing things that you don't believe. That's you, Zinder, by your own admission, and you have projected that onto me even now, and you won't apologise, you won't concede. That's because you're pathetic. You're a weasel. You should be ashamed. You've got no humility though, have you?
Hey, Zinder, go fuck yourself, burn in hell, you fucking cunt.
Shut
No
up.
need,
So,
no need.
give me a minute. All right, I admit I am guilty of trying to deceive people that the Earth is actually convex. I'm sorry of it. I will never do it again. I know there are people who actually could have believed that the Earth is convex.
Yeah, you've also accused me of it.
I am admitting right now. Why
Please
are
stop
you
muting him,
me, you
whoever's
fucking
muting
idiot?
him.
Not you, Nathan,
Don't
the
mute
Daniel
him.
guy.
Yeah, we know that, Zinder. We know that unequivocally. The other problem is that you've also accused me of it.
Oh, yeah, because I think it is true. I know
Yeah, no,
it
but
is
it's true of
kinda.
you. That's the admission you've just given. I'm not admitting it. You have no proof of it. It's not true. But you are guilty of it. That's called projection. Fourth time I've gone through this with you. And you're a pathetic weasel who can't admit this. You're just projecting what you do onto me.